Welcome to TrackMind Online TV. This is Spotlight Show where we are all about digging and discovering talent. Have you discovered yours? I am your host, Orina Dorothy, and with us here today we have one who has dug out the life of photography. Hi, Neville.
Hi, Dorothy.
It's so nice to have you here. You're looking good.
Thanks for having me.
You are a photographer.
Yes.
Tell us about your beginning story. Everything has a story, and with the good things, we always remember the beginning. So, what is your beginning story? How did you begin photography?
So I actually began photography when I was in high school, Form 3, if I'm not wrong. So we had a cameraman who used to come to our school almost each and every day. So from Monday to Friday, he'd take photos of people. Then on Saturday, he'd print them out and come and sell them to us. So I thought, I used to be fascinated by how the process it was done, like how you can capture a moment or how you can capture a beautiful sunset. So I used to go to him with some of two or three friends which are also photographers right now. We'd borrow a camera and he'd lend it to us between 4 and 5:30. Where we take different pictures of our classmates, and some he'd do us a favor and print them, some he'd send it to us digitally over the holidays. So that is where I cite it as the original source of my inspiration. But I took it seriously after I cleared my Form 4 in 2018. After I cleared Form 4 in 2017, so in 2018 I joined a youth program in our church for Form 4 leavers. That period when you're waiting to join university. It's called Doulos from Deliverance Church Umoja. So that there is when we had different, we call them electives. So we had people taking music, media, drama, art. So I chose, since I saw it as an opportunity to further my interests, I took media class. And from there, as they say, the rest is history.
Oh, okay. What is photography all about? Is it just capturing the good moments? Is it about good angles? What does it take to be a photographer, to be called a photographer?
That's a wide question, since photography entails a lot of things. You can choose to capture beautiful moments. You can choose to capture, let's say, people, rather than sunsets and beautiful scenery. You can choose to just capture people and focus on their beauty, and not only on moments. You can choose to focus on cars, or you can use it as a storytelling tool. So it really just depends on how you want to take it. But generally, I'd say photography is like a creative avenue. So art has many branches. There are people who can sing, there are people who can draw, there are people who can paint, there are people who can sculpture. But then, like in photography, it's having a keen eye for detail. Yeah, that's how I can put it. For having a keen eye for detail, seeing something which no other person can see. Yeah.
So that is where the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
When it comes to photography.
Yes.
Great. For you personally, what is your objective with photography? What do you want to bring out? What do you show people with your photos?
The type of photography I currently undertake, it's beauty and fashion. So if I can sell someone's, fashion has very different aspects. Though I'm not a fashionista myself, but if I see someone looking good, I can be able to identify. And if I can relay that image which I've seen, that makes me happy as a photographer. So in beauty and fashion, I mostly try to bring out the beauty in people. But when I was starting out, I started out doing small events in church photography. So I tried to picture, when I was doing in church, I tried to capture people in their most vulnerable moments when they are closer to God. So when you as a person, you see an image, someone crying, or a full grown man crying on their knees, you see, you feel compelled to go to like bring your life to Jesus. So since I started in church, so that's where my foundation was, but at the moment it's beauty and fashion. But at the beginning was all about capturing moments and vulnerability of people as they are closer to God.
So when you were doing this, did you consider it as a form of ministry, perhaps capturing these moments and other people drawing inspiration from these photos that you're doing, especially those that you're doing in church?
Yeah. So when I was starting out, it was a form of ministry. Yeah, since my roots mostly were in ministry, but you know, normal, like any human being, you just have to grow. So I had to grow from that. Not that it's a bad thing, but when I was still starting out, so I started it out as a ministry. But now where I am, I'm more on portraying beauty, like beauty in people.
Okay. So currently you're not doing photography as ministry, or you're doing it part-time sometimes?
Oh no, currently it's not. I don't majorly focus on ministry, but I also do it sometimes when called upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does the photography process go for you? You said something about you creating a picture you've seen. So do you think about it, then you get someone to do it, you direct the whole photography with it bringing out the detail of what you want to recreate? How does it go around for you?
So when I have mostly my projects, I source inspiration from Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like social media. Since we're living in the social media age, and I'm not that old not to understand social media and how it works. So mostly I draw my image from social media. Then after that, I believe that teamwork is something that will help you grow. So if I have some inspiration, I either contact my fellow photographer or any other creative, might be a painter, might be a sculptor. So after outsourcing them, I explain to them my vision. I do more research on a certain concept that I want to undertake. I come up with the idea, the poses, also in collaboration with the person I'm doing. Each of us pitching. We look for the perfect model, be it male or female, depending on the concept that I have in mind. Then on the day of the shoot, it's mostly a teamwork. So like I may come with a certain number of poses that I think might work, but also in the day of the shoot, the model might come up with a different idea. So that doesn't lock the model out from sharing what they have in mind. So at the end of the day, the final outcome will be a collaboration of the 3 or more people together. I won't take it as a solo effort.
It comes out as though photography is something very comprehensive. It has a lot to it. It entails collaboration with people. You know, most people, even I at some point, have thought that photography is all about, here's a person, let's take a picture. Here is a flower, beautiful flower, let's take a picture. So I'm getting that there's a lot of, there's some thought process to it. This is what you want to achieve. This is the model you get. This is what they have to do in order to achieve this. So do you do this as a hobby, or do you do it professionally?
I started it out as a hobby, but right now I'm doing it professionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you reach out to people to have shoots with them? Do they approach you? Where do you market yourself?
In terms of shoots, it's a two-way thing.
Okay.
So sometimes I come up with ideas and reach out to models and fellow photographers. Sometimes a photographer may come to me, or let's say a painter may come to me with their idea. Then I go outsource for a model. Or sometimes a model may have an idea. They come and pitch it to me, and then we work together in order to make their concept come alive, or my concept come alive. And in terms of marketing myself, majorly it's like how most art forms go about nowadays. Social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. So that's why I post my work mostly that I do. Since we're evolving from where it used to be, you have to go somewhere physically to showcase your work. since most of us, not a lot of us can afford exhibitions. Personally, I don't have the money to afford to display my work in an exhibition. But through social media, it's free. Someone can access my work easily. I also have a website where I put most of my work. So you see, we have free platforms to market our work. So I don't rely mostly on physical exhibitions, but social media and word of mouth.
With your form of art, you get to interact with a lot of people, with models, and those are the people that you collaborate with in your work. How do you find the process of working with people? Do you ever get negative feedback on your photos? Because this is something that involves both your expectations and the expectations of the customer. How have you ever got any negative feedback? And if you have, how did you go about it?
Yeah, negative feedback is a must. From like any form of art, you must get negative feedback. So what's important is how you take it personally and how you capitalize on it. So I've gotten quite a number of negative feedback, especially when I was starting, since I wasn't that familiar with editing and also proper ways of shooting. So you might find some things are beyond a photographer's ability. Let's say a client or someone wants me to make them look lighter or darker. You know,
people
something.
ask that.
Yes, people tell you like people want you to make them lighter or be more curvy or have less or remove certain blemishes on their skin. So on that, I found a way to adjust to them. I just tell them respectfully what can or cannot be done. Before I shoot, I tell the model, like I give the model what to expect from it, so that when the results are out, the expectations are not higher than what's actually there. But also, I'm also my biggest critic. Some of my shoots, after shooting them, during post-processing, I usually go through them and think that maybe I'm not good enough, but when you show it to someone else, they think it's good enough. So I'm also still, I've been in the game for like 2 years, but up to date, I still have self-doubt, which is part of the negative, I'd call it a negative feedback from myself.
Okay. Yeah. So other than this, what are the other difficulties or frustrations that you face as you do photography?
The major one in all art forms, clients' refusal to pay or to appreciate your work. So you find that you agree beforehand a job on the amount you'll be paid. That you like beforehand, you're in good terms with the client, but after delivering your job, the client starts excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. So chasing after payments, it's a very big challenge. Other challenges are weather. You see, like let's say like now we're in a rainy season. So most of the outdoor shoots I had in mind cannot be executed. Since most people either in fear of the cold, and when you get a cold nowadays, people think you have corona, unfortunately. Then also the venues might be flooded, or they might be mud everywhere. Also sometimes lack of funds. You might find that I want to shoot in a certain hotel or in a certain venue, but the manager says that we have to pay for it. Something like, I've ever gone to a venue where you're told it's 10,000 per hour, and you might only need that 1 hour to shoot. So you know, to some of us, 10,000 is not easy money, just cough out anytime. So yeah, those are
And I
some
think
of
an
the
hour is
challenges.
a short time for photography. How long does a shoot take on average?
2 to 3 hours.
So it will be 30,000, and you still
Yeah.
have
You have to go, you have to prep, you have to do makeup, you have to change outfits, you have to prep the venue, you have to set up the lights. Then like when you're starting out, before you catch the rhythm of the shoot, so you might find the first 30 minutes it's like connecting with the model. So then after that, then you start working on the shoots slowly by slowly. So if we find you're given only 1 hour, let's say you're able to raise that 10,000. In that 1 hour, you won't be able to execute what you had in mind properly.
You've spoken about a lot of things, about makeup, about setting up. Could you tell us what it asks of you as a photographer? Like when you want to be a photographer, what is it that you invest in? What should you have that will aid in the process of you actually getting a good result?
My biggest, I'd say my biggest thought on that would be that investing in knowledge. As we usually told from when we were children, knowledge is power. So in this age of the internet, you can't limit yourself that I don't know how to do so and so. So like me personally, I learned some of my skills in church, the youth program I had earlier told you about. But other than that, I had to go an extra step, spend countless hours on YouTube. You learn about a concept, go and execute it. If it doesn't work out, go see where you went wrong. Every day it's a learning process, and still to date it's a learning process. So you have to invest in your knowledge. You also have to invest in equipment. Yes, sadly, photography isn't cheap. So you have to, like, the most basic thing is you need a camera. Yeah, but if you can't afford a camera at the moment, you have a phone, a smartphone. Today's smartphones are like equivalent to cameras. iPhone 12, the Google Pixel 4, the Oppos, they take wonderful pictures. So if you start with what you have, as you continue to invest, there'll be a great reward. But in terms of investment, the biggest one you should invest in is knowledge. Because anytime you can receive money to buy a camera. But if you have a camera without knowledge on how to operate it, how is it beneficial to you?
Yeah. Okay. So in your photography, is there a place where you draw the line? Are there photos that you can't take, or do you take every kind of photos?
I can't do pornographic shoots simply because it's against my morals and standards. Yeah.
So as long as something goes against what you stand for, you don't take it.
I can't engage in it.
So this is something that you love, and so you wanted to also give out who you are. Do you like have your element in your shoots? Does it if I am to view your photos, do I get a piece of you?
Yeah, most of my photos, I like them. I like as in when the model is smiling. Because generally I'm a happy person, it's hard for you to find me angry. So it's also a reflection of who I am. And also, I'm a person who pays attention to detail. So in most of my photos, you'll notice that like I avoid pretty much having unnecessary things in images, and making sure during post-processing, I take care of each and every color to perfection.
Okay.
So each and every color you see in my photo, or any type of edit you see, I usually take around 30 minutes to 1 hour working on each picture. So it brings out my eye for perfection and details.
Okay. Yeah. So how does the future look for you? Now that you have knowledge and you have equipment, what are your plans for the future with photography? What's your end goal?
So my end goal is I'll somewhere in future I'll definitely like stop shooting more often and invest more in a media school. So I want to have like an art center where people can come and just learn about art in general. Actually not a media school, but art in general. Because photography is also part of art. So we'll have artists, painters, musicians, videographers, photographers, where all of that can be taught in one place. And I'll still be shooting, but not as much as I'm doing right now. So right now it's like making investments in knowledge, learning about how to build such, how to come up with such, so that in future, when I have my own art school, I can know how to run it appropriately. And that's achieved through like I collab with painters, with sculptures, with musicians, different types of artists. We collab so that when we share ideas and thoughts, the outcome will be something beautiful, rather than sticking alone to your own ideas.
Giving back to society as well. That has been great. What are your last words? What's your punchline?
I don't know whoever is watching. We may not know personally. We may not know each other personally. But if you have a dream of starting photography, just as Nike says, just do it. So with whatever you have, be it a phone, be it a camera, go in the internet, type photography 101, and then you start your journey from there. Yeah.
As you have heard, just do it. Take it up, find your glow, find your talent, because you have it. Get that power and come to realize it. Dig it up and own it. This has been Spotlight with Chuckmind Online TV. Catch us on Tuesday every week.